County. And it didn't just happen just within the last decade or last couple of decades. It happened in the 1800s. They were concerned about education even then. And right after the Civil War, it was even more important to focus on education, focus on teaching our people. And there were, when you think about the end of the Civil War, nearly 1 million or more people were freed that could not read and write, which led to precarious situations. Oftentimes had to go back on the slave plantations to do sharecropping. But there were some that were determined to make life better for themselves and to make life better for their families, for their people, and for the entire world. And 9 of those were the 9 men that formed the Lincoln Normal School, sitting down with the desire that even while they were in bondage, they were thinking freedom, freedom, oh freedom. They were thinking just about how in the world are we going to get our message out? How are we going to create a way for our people? And two of those, Alexander Curtis and James Charles, bought their freedom even before the Civil War started. James Charles bought his freedom and the freedom of his wife. But of course, he didn't have the funds to buy that of his children, so he stayed in Alabama and Marion so that he could help raise his children. But at the same time, knowing that there was a better way, he used that time to go to the north to learn to bake. And so did Alexander Curtis. Those are some of the ones, and there are many others that saw beyond their conditions to see the possibilities of what life could be like. So those 9 men formed the Lincoln Normal School. And Lincoln Normal School has reached all over this whole world. Lincoln Normal School was a safe haven and a place where people could send their children for an education. At one point, Lincoln Normal had over 600 students in the boarding school. And this was just an awesome task. Those children lived on campus. We have the remnants of what was left over there now. But today, and I tell you this story because if you walk on that campus, you won't see that. You can't walk and just look and know just the fact that you're there, that it is holy ground. But it is like programs like this that will make that history possible. To rejuvenate, to educate, and to teach our people where we did come from. And so those men formed, organized, and along later on the next year or so, with the assistance of the American Missionary Association, they were able to keep that school going. And also later on with the assistance of the state of Alabama. But now, that is just a story of letting you know that it doesn't matter how much you have or where you come from, it is your desire to do better. It is your desire to make a difference. The same thing with the First Congregational Church, where there was a school with the AMA, Julie, there was a church that was founded. The First Congregational Church, 1869. Well, you may say, well, there are a lot of older churches in Alabama than that. That's true. And that's not taking anything away from them. But right here in Marion, Alabama, the First Congregational Church still stands tall and stands strong. And it is the oldest, and I repeat, the oldest, unaltered African-American church in the state of Alabama. And when I say unaltered, I mean that same steeple that those ex-slaves put up in 1869 is still there. That same bell that they hoisted, that 400-pound bell that they hoisted up by making wood scaffolds to go up to that top of that building is still there. It still stands. Storms may come, winds may blow, trees may fall, storms and waters may rise, but that First Congregational Church has never. God has protected it, and the spirits of those ancestors has protected it so that I can just hear them saying, peace be still, peace be still. And if you listen to the walls of the Zion United Methodist Church right now in 1965, when that all happened with Jimmy Lee Jackson being shot here, and those hundreds and hundreds of men and women sacrificing their jobs to come to this church for a mass meeting because they said no more, no more, no more. James Orange was housed in that same very jail right over there. If you can quiet yourself and quiet your minds and quiet your hearts, you can still hear that little silent voice that